All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 704 once again for a new episode of the 815 Exchange. And well, things are a little different. All right, things are a little different. All right, new set. We are back at the couch. Made some additions. We got some jerseys here just kind of thrown. You can't really see them because of the angle because, focus has to be on me because I could never have your focus on anything else. But, yeah, new setup. We're going to see how it goes. New scuffed. We are back to me recording this on a Sunday afternoon, which is always very, 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 very interesting because things are going on right now. Like Tennessee, Carolina, which I'm going to talk about, happens tonight. I won't really get to record that because I have to record the entertainment segment because House of the Dragon also happens tonight. I'm very happy about that. It's also Father's Day, by the way, so shout out to, all the fathers. I have 3 absolutely incredible, amazing personal father figures in my life. My grandfather, my father, my stepfather. Shout out to my uncles as well, and happy Father's Day to, if you're a father watching this. So yeah, happy birthday to us. I hope to one day be a father, hopefully not anytime soon. But yeah, like I said, this is a very dynamic, all right, Sunday afternoons, not being able to record on Monday is very, very, very weird, but we gonna make it work, all right, we gonna make it work, and we still gonna get these episodes out. And we got plenty to talk about. All right, we got Euros going on. Copa America coming soon. But for now, we got Euros to talk about. We got NCAA Baseball, which was absolutely insane this week. And, of course, we got the NBA and NHL, which looked out scheduling and made sure I had nothing to talk about today. So we got that in full. We got entertainment. Oh, my goodness, TV is back. Hell, we even got music back. Don Toliver dropped one of the best projects of the year. And, of course, in the Roundup, we've got the U.S. Open going on in North Carolina. Shout out to my NC residents. We got that going on. And we got a little other stuff to talk about, like in the W, we're going to talk a little Caitlin Clark. Not that. We're actually here playing, but we will be talking Caitlin Clark. But yeah, as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, timestamps are embedded in the video and provided below in the description, along with anything else you're looking for in this life, like my social media links. But for now, I said we were talking footy, so let's talk footy. And in particular, let's talk Euros, all right? Let's talk about the European Championships. Highly anticipated. It's a busy, busy year. This is like the kickoff in terms of international competition for us because we got the Olympics later on in the year. We got Copa America, like I said, but for now, kicking us off, we do have the Euros and highly anticipated with all the young talent that's come through. It feels like a changing of a guard. Ronaldo probably in his last, Cruz already retiring in his last, Luka Modric. A lot of the great European players have passed, kind of making their exit, and a lot of those young stars are kind of starting to emerge. And honestly, they wasted no time. They wasted absolutely no time. I mean, the literal first game was Germany versus Scotland, and they put it on Scotland. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. And the first 2 goal scorers of the European Championships 2024, Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala. Yes, the young German midfield duo, the 2 attacking mids for Germany. They instantly clicked. Instantly clicked. I know Bayern Munich fans are absolutely salivating, but listen, Bayern fans, please relax and let, Bayern get this off. And just please, don't do that. Y'all poach from the rest of the German clubs enough as is. I know y'all didn't win it this year. Had a little bit of an up and down year, honestly, for your standards. But please, I'm begging you, do not poach Wirtz, even though Wirtz and Musiala are making magic right now. And honestly, lifting this German team. Fulkrug continues to be on a run. We talked about him a lot with Dortmund. He scored in this game. They had 5 different goal scorers. Again, they crushed Scotland. Scotland was simply outmatched. Simply put, they were outmatched. It was a really, 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 really rough weekend, for Scots. We had, what happened in Germany, Scotland, and then Drew McIntyre got beat by Damian Priest because CM Punk is player hater of the year. It was a rough one. It was a rough one. But yeah, Wirtz, Musiala set the tone for this tournament and for Germany. They looked really good. But again, it was Scotland, so we got to ease up. Spain crushed Croatia. A little bit of a, unknown with Croatia. Of course, they've been the surprised. Almost, honestly, you could dare say the 2nd or 3rd best team, depending on how you feel, in international competition over this past, 5-6 years. Back-to-back, very solid top 3 finishes in the World Cup, riding, of course, that wave of momentum. But that golden generation has started to fade out. Like I said, it's Modric's last one. Mandzukic is not playing in this tournament. So, yeah, a lot of changes going on with Croatia. A lot of what is this team going to look like? And Spain gave them the work. All right, Spain beats them 3-0. Danny Carvajal and Lamine Yamal. Who would have thought that they would have had chemistry, but they did. Danny Carvajal continues to score in big moments. Morata. Alvaro Morata, I feel like has been on the Spanish team for at least 15 years. For like a couple different eras. Like he has been the number 9 for Spain for so long. It's honestly ridiculous. Like, did he play with Fernando Torres? Like, I feel like Morata has been here forever, but he always delivers when he's in that Spain kit. And he, delivered here again. Big reason why Spain won this game 3-0. But yeah, Spain makes a statement early on. Of course, they got Pedri without Gavi. But yeah, Pedri looking back more full health. Lamine Yamal looking like he might, if Barca doesn't run him into the ground, might be the best player in the world one day. But we will see. But Spain makes a statement against Croatia. Italy survives, all right? Survives. Now, a lot of people in this game are talking about the defense, reasonably so. All right, reasonably so. By the way, all 3 goals in this game, Albania scores in 23 seconds. I think it's the fastest goal in Euros history. Then Bastoni and Barella followed up with the 11th and the 16th. So all 3 goals in this game happened in the first 16 minutes of this game. Italy, I gotta say it. The defensive pairing they have back there in Bastoni and now the man who is trending on Twitter currently, Riccardo Calafiori, who had a monster game, by the way. Everybody's talking about because he's got the classic long hair, Italian, great Maldini, Nesta, so on and so forth look. And, everybody's glazing him right now. And he had an amazing performance in this game besides the yellow card, which, you can say how you feel about that. But still a great performance. Really shut down that Albanian team. And that kind of, after that first minute, they just kind of held it down. Italy was better. They scraped by, but they were better. But yeah, very exciting to see that young, defensive pairing, see how they do and how they grow and how they mesh. But yeah, going to be one to watch. Going to be one to watch in terms of seeing how far his stock goes throughout this Euros because that $25 million Juve apparently was asking Bologna. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to work anymore. Netherlands always tend to surprise in this. Poland, just more misery. Netherlands got it done 2-1. Wijkers did, he was feeling some type of way about not starting, but, now he's at 7 goals in 11 games with, the Dutch national team. So it's working. Whatever Koeman is doing with Wijkers is working because the number 9 for Netherlands gets it done here again. Gets it done in the 83rd minute to put them over the top and get Netherlands a big 3 points against Poland. And I believe they're in that French group as well, which is kind of group of deathish. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting, but a huge win for the Netherlands. Jude Bellingham, like I said, young stars have been showing out, and Jude did what you would expect. He did exactly what you would expect. I'm not even going to spend that much time with it. They played Serbia. Jude scored a insane header, covered like 10 20 yards in like 3 seconds, and it was beautiful. It was classic Jude. And yeah, he got on the board, got a little physical, but England, of course, are my favorites to win the Euros. I think them and France are pretty much everybody's favorites to win the Euros. I think those are the 2 strongest teams. Of course, France of this past era have been the strongest. They got the young player. Of course, they've got the best player in the world in Kylian Mbappe. But England, it looks like a golden generation. We're going to see if they can get the gold. But yeah, England and France definitely have to be the favorites. France plays tomorrow. So by the time you're watching this, you will know whether France came out on fire or if they are looking like they might be fraudulent. But we will see. But yeah, the Euros are underway. Young talent showing out. That's what we want. All right? That's what we want. That's what we want. Keeping it moving. NCAA Baseball, because I have to talk about it. I have to talk about it. Because it was ridiculous. I'm not even talking about the MLB. You saw it. I said NCAA Baseball. Because I'm not talking about the MLB this week. I'm not. Even though Yankees are still doing well. No. We have reached the College World Series, and my God. We started off the College World Series with not 1, not 2, but 3. 3 straight walk-offs, and then in the 4th game, there was a robbery to prevent a walk-off. Just ridiculous. All right, absolutely ridiculous start to the College World Series. So let's get into it, all right? Carolina and UVA, the 2 ACC teams. Of course, 4 ACC teams, 4 SEC teams made it. Don't know how that works, but hey, that's how it happened. We start off with Carolina and UVA. Came down to the wire. Once again, Carolina game goes down to the wire. And who else? Who else besides the man we talked about last week, the man we're talking about this week? And if they keep this up, and depending on how they do against Tennessee tonight, we might be talking about next week. Vance Honeycutt continues his rise up draft boards back to the top because he was, the top, honestly, he was 2 years ago after his freshman year. Some people thought he might be the number 1 overall pick. He's playing like it. Another walk-off home run for Vance Honeycutt. Another week of me saying another walk-off for Vance Honeycutt. He has been phenomenal. He has been absolutely phenomenal. He has been every bit the superstar you want to have in your lineup if you are Carolina. He's showed up big time. Every single big moment, he has risen to it, and he has done wonders for that team. So, yeah, Carolina walks off Virginia, avoids, getting put in that elimination game, and continues just a hot streak for Vance Honeycutt. He is on fire. He can't be stopped. Tennessee has another player that's been a superstar this year and once again came through in a big moment. Of course, I would be talking about Christian Moore, who delivered the first cycle in the College World Series since 1954. That's probably older than your... honestly, not probably. That's definitely, if you're watching this, depending on how old you are, of course. Speaking of Father's Day, probably older than your dad. 1954. Very long time ago. Basically, this is the first in the modern era. Let's call it how it is. Christian Moore, though, had a game. I think, 5 for 6 in this game. 2 doubles. Hits the cycle. And is helped drive home the run that kicks us off here. Even though technically he didn't kick off the kind of run there at the end. But I don't know how Florida State fumbled this game. I do not know. You were up, 11-9 or 11-9. In the bottom of the ninth. Just get out of the inning. All you had to do was get out of the inning. And they could not do it to save their life. Kept the pitcher in too long. Just everything that could go wrong in that bottom of the ninth went wrong for Florida State. It was crazy to watch because I was watching it live. It was crazy to watch. It was just like this inevitable feeling once Moore came up to bat, it was like, uh-oh, this might actually happen. Then he hit the double, center run, and it was like, uh-oh. Here we go. Then Burke, another star, All-American for Tennessee, knocked another one in, ties the game, and you're like, uh-oh, I don't think this is going to extras. I think Tennessee might just put this to bed, and that's exactly what Drelling did. He walks it off after Burke sends in the tying one. He gets another hit, and that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. In the number 1 team in the land. Number 1 overall seed, Tennessee, stays alive. They take care of Florida State in the 9th inning. Just an absolute collapse. And that was the second walk-off. But like I said, there was 3. There was 3 because Kentucky took on NC State, and this one went to extras. It went to the 10th after more 9th inning chaos. Bottom of the 9th, State can't close it out. Give up a home run. Nicholson ties the game. And then the next inning, bottom of the 9th, Daly just walks it off in the bottom of the 10th. So UK gets it done 5-4. Shout out to that boy Christian. I know this was very, very conflicting times for you. Very, very conflicting times with, that Clemson and Kentucky game, but the Kentucky advanced and then you get Kentucky and State. So, happy times for my UK folk. But Big Blue stays alive. They move on. They avoid the elimination game. State does go to an elimination game. I believe they will have to play Florida, so that should be very, very interesting. But Kentucky gets us our 3rd walk-off. So what happened in the 4th? We got Texas A&M. We got Florida. Florida, they've been here, done that. Cags, you know it. All right, Florida. Staple. Texas A&M. No Braden Montgomery, their star outfielder, of course, broke his ankle, I believe, during the last game in the regional final. Breaks his ankle, so he's out. But who else besides their super sophomore, one of the top picks next year? Jace Lavalette. I want to get that right. He's from Louisiana. Gotta get it right. But yeah, Jace gets it done. All right, 6'6" for a reason. 6'6" for a reason, and he can move. No wonder. All right, it's not just home runs. It's not just the power. It's not just the bat. He plays defense too, and he gets another. He's had a couple robberies this year, but this might have been the best one, and he made it look so casual. He made it look like it was an everyday play. Just absolutely robs Florida. They thought they were about to walk it off. It was not, walk it off or either tie the game. I think it was a walk-off. It was just not to be. Jace absolutely saves the game with a robbery in the 9th. So, yeah, we had all of the drama. All of the drama to kick us off. And we did have more games, like I said today. No Tennessee Carolina for me to talk about. We will see. That's going to be a very fun game to watch, though. But we did have that elimination game between FSU and UVA, and unfortunately, one ACC team down, and that is going to be the Virginia Cavaliers. So, unfortunately, they do not give my father a Father's Day present with Virginia moving on, or staying alive, should I say. But FSU gets it done, 7-3. Fair hit 2 home runs. They jumped out on UVA. I think they went up 7-0. They won this game 7-3. Went up 7-0, I think, in 4 innings, and just were like, yeah, we're not, bend don't break from there on out and just close this out. And that's exactly what the Seminoles did. They stay alive. UVA goes 0-2, and they are now out of the College World Series. Like I said, entertainment. We finally back. We're finally back. We actually have something to talk about in entertainment. Thankfully, I just watched House of the Dragon. All right, so spoilers. All right, I'm going to talk about that first because it's fresh on my mind. But like I said, spoilers, of course, on everything, okay? Everything. Massive spoilers. All right, you gone? You skipped ahead? Okay, you got it? Okay. Rest in peace, my boy Jaharis. Rest in peace, my boy. That was haunting. That was so haunting, and it's fresh in my mind because I just watched it. That was haunting. That was just as bad as I expected Blood and Cheese to be. Just as bad. Both of them scumbags, and then just all the sounds of them cutting his head off was, nah. But yeah, this episode was pretty truthful to the leaks and kind of what was expected. Cole and Alyssa, it was implied that there was something there. We saw a lot more physical stuff this time. And of course, people will talk probably about the double standard, but not really surprising. Alyssa and Kristen are, involved. Eamon is the most wanted man in the world. We'll see how that goes. It looks like he's a menace. Interested to see where, the narrative goes with him and kind of peeling the parts back there. Aegon is going to be on smoke. We can already tell. And, Rainier is grieving. Damon is a menace still. And, still road princing. So, yeah. Very good episode. Very strong opener. House of the Dragon Season 2. We back. All right, we back. Hierarchy. All right, I finished Hierarchy this week. I've seen some very mixed feelings. And honestly, I get it, though. I get it because none of the, protagonists, the main characters are really, besides King Kyle, really, you can root for. And we're positioned in a way where we're supposed to sympathize with Ryan and Jade, especially with, their relationship and what's going on. But it's hard because of, what they did with, how involved they were with King and Ha's death. So, yeah, I get the criticisms, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. And that last, I've never seen a K-drama get an after credit scene. That was crazy. With, was that King Ha sending that text to Ryan? Or, where does the narrative go next? But I need a season 2, all right? I need a season 2 because I love the story, the world. I love the world of it and just kind of the optics. Execution could have been a little bit better, but overall, I still enjoyed it. A lot of great young actors in that, probably going to have some very, very promising careers. But yeah, Hierarchy definitely gets the cosign for me. That wasn't it from TV. It was the week of TV because The Boys also came out. Bridgerton also came about, but I'll finish that this week. We'll talk about that next week. But The Boys is back. All right, The Boys is back. Homelander and Ryan's relationship, we've seen how it evolved. And in 3 episodes, we saw how it devolved. Don't know where Ryan's running, but we'll see what happens there. Sister Sage has been great. All right, that has been very intriguing. And they've managed it really well, having the smartest person in the world. How do you kind of manage that? Because that power can be kind of difficult to kind of wrangle. But I think they've done a really good job. Sister Sage, probably the best new character, I think a lot of people would say. Sparkler is going to be very interesting to see how that goes. Interesting backstory with her and Starlight. Annie and Huey, still Annie and Huey. Huey dealing with his dad. It's going to be very interesting to see where they goes with that. Honestly, everybody's storyline was good. Of course, Butcher dying, dealing with, being a better leader or trying to be a better part of the boys. And then is now kind of moving into that leadership role. Frenchie and Kamiko. Why they broke up is kind of hurting me. I have no problems, by the way, with Frenchie being bi. I felt like that was implied from the entire show. So I don't know why people were surprised by that. But breaking up Kamiko and Frenchie, it's not sitting right with my soul. All right, it's not sitting right with my soul. What else? Claudia Dumont, what a woman. Victoria Newman, could pop my head. All right, she could pop my head. That was insane, by the way, how powerful she was. And that she just kind of brushed it off Huey and Butcher trying to kill her. She's going to be up to some stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how her and, Homelander work. Those two sides kind of, not necessarily feuding, but their two ideals kind of clashing. So, yeah, a very good start. All right, a very good start. TV is back in full force, man. It's going to be a good summer. What else? Oh, yeah. We had a great weekend of entertainment, like I said, because Don Toliver dropped. And I've been talking about the build-up to this album all year. I've been talking about the build-up to this. HARDSTONE PSYCHO, and boy, oh boy, did it deliver. I'm going to give it a 9.5, only because I don't want to give it a perfect rating, because I'm sure there's something I could nitpick and be like, that's not exactly right. But I'm going to give it a 9.5, but it might be a 10. I've only listened to it once, but it might be a 10. We're going to let it get a couple more spins, and I'm going to really digest it. But this might be, or should have been, a 10. All right, I'm going to give it a 9.5 for right now. The beat selection, the production. This was his magnum opus. This was Don's magnum opus. It was perfect. Perfectly executed Don Toliver album. Absolutely incredible. I don't have a standout song because every single song was a standout. This was like one of those somewhat rare occasions where the singles led up and were all fantastic, and they weren't overshadowed by, what came in the album, or it wasn't like the singles were a letdown, but the album was good, kind of like what we had with P&D, but everything just hit. All right, it was magnum opus stuff from Don Toliver, probably going to be his best album. Super cosign, all right? And I implore you to go listen to that album. It was fantastic. What else? Lay dropped. Step. Yeah, the album Step. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. More good stuff from Lay. It was very pop heavy. More than, his other EPs and kind of minis. It was very pop heavy to me. Had a little bit of like a pop, almost Timberlake-ish to an extent. But not too much of like I felt like Lay could have stepped into that R&B bag just a little bit more. Like he had in his previous albums, and it made it a little bit better for me. But it was still solid. I think Step, the title track, was one of my favorites besides, the other singles he's dropped that I've already heard. And Music Is Your Love. I think those were my two favorites. But yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. Still good stuff from Lay, but not my favorite project that he's ever dropped. And Tommy Richman continues his run with Devil Is a Lie. I don't know if that's banging as much as $1 Million Baby. Just because the rollout situation, and it might get overshadowed a little bit. Yeah, but still very, very good. Felt like it could have been longer, though. It's the only thing I'll say. I felt like it could have been longer, but still, Tommy Richman on a hell of a run. Looks like he might be up next, but yeah, we'll see. He's certainly up next out of the DMV. But ladies and gentlemen, entertainment is back. We're going to let the NBA have the main event. All right, it was either going to be the NBA or the NHL, right? But, neither one of them wanted a sweep. So, NHL, you're going to kick us off. NHL. Because, yeah, we were talking last week. It was not looking good. It was not at all looking good for the Edmonton Oilers. Sergei Bobrovsky had just had that incredible shutout. Then they lost Game 2. Then they lost Game 3. And then Game 4 was yesterday, and it was back against the wall. Back against the wall for the Oilers. Are they going to get embarrassed? McDavid has been a ghost. Stratsail has been a ghost. Hell, even Nuge has been a ghost. It was not looking good. Panthers were dominating. I think everybody was just like, yeah, it's about to be a celebration in Florida. But, like I said last week, the Oilers are here for a reason. Because they have the most dynamic offense in the game today, led, of course, by the best player in the world. And the best player in the world simply was not going out like that. The Oilers, as I so famously have said, beat the brakes off of the Florida Panthers in Game 4, 8-1. Bobrovsky got pulled in the second period. I mean, a beating. They exercised some demons in this game. It felt like they were getting some stress off. That is how bad the Oilers beat the Panthers in this game. Connor McJesus has a 4-point outing, 1 goal, 3 assists. That is a hat trick of assists for the best player in the world. In doing so, he breaks the playoff record, which, again, if you're breaking a Wayne Gretzky record, then you must be doing something right. McDavid breaks the playoff record for assists. That is now 32 and counting. We will see how far he's at. I think 38 points, which is top 10 all-time. I think it's 7th on the all-time list. I don't know if he's going to catch, I think he has to score like 10 more points to catch Wayne's playoff points record. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but he does take the assist record. So credit to McDavid. Holloway also had a great game. He had 2 goals and an assist for a 3-point night. Only 3 players. All right, to get you just kind of like to, understand the offensive output in this game for the Oilers. Only 3 players, and 2 of them were defensemen, so only 1 forward, did not record a single point in this game. Everybody else at least had 1. 1. Only 3 players, not counting the goalie, of course. And honestly, Skinner probably could have scored if he wanted to in this game. Incredible offensive onslaught from the Edmonton Oilers, keeping themselves alive. Made a little bit of a statement. We'll see what happens in Game 5. The Panthers are like, you know what? Shake that off. We got plenty of opportunities to put this home and take home the cup, since it will be in the arena every time they play now. We will see. All right, we will see. But the Oilers, again, showed why they are dangerous with, of course, the best player in the world and the most dangerous offense in hockey. The National Basketball Association, at least for 1 more week until the draft. Similarly to what we just talked about with the Oilers and Panthers, again, the NBA and the NHL always just seem to match up. It's beautiful, honestly. It's a beautiful thing because they love to match up, and I appreciate it. I have love for it. I'm rocking with it. I love it. And once again, it happened because once again, the guy who might be the best player in the world. In NHL, that's, McDavid. In the NBA here, it honestly might be Luka Doncic at this point. Decided that he wasn't getting swept. Simply put, it was looking bad. Boston, it was just basically who wants to be finals MVP, all right? It was Drew 1 game, then it was JB 1 game, and it's just whoever. Porzingis is injured. It didn't even matter. The Celtics were embarrassing the Mavericks. Kyrie and Luka were fighting for their lives. But Luka Doncic just said, you know what? I'm not getting swept. I'm not getting swept. In fact, we're not even going to make this a game. In fact, everybody on the bench, you on the bench, you hadn't seen a court all year. You just came from the G League. You're getting into this game because that's how fast this game was over. All right, it was similar to that Timberwolves game last series for the Mavericks where they just kind of smoked the team and it was like, yo, is Luka going to outscore the other team? He might drop 60 this game. That's what happened. So yeah, he only finishes with 29. Only 29 in this game because, they just kind of pulled him because at a certain point, it was like, yeah, we're going to a Game 5. There's not going to be a sweep. No broomsticks. All right, that's why we got none on set today. Just because it wasn't happening. All right, they were up like 40-20 in the first. It was gone. All right, it was done and dusted. And that's with Luka going 0 for 8 from 3. This could have been a lot worse for the Celtics. KI had 21, a very solid 21. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 15 points off the bench, 5 threes, composing that 15. And of course, Derek Lively showed up big time. They needed him. All right, they're going to need him to show up and be a factor. He was a factor in this game. That's back-to-back double-doubles for him. He had 11 and 12 in this game. But yeah, the Mavs completely blow out the Celtics. It's a wash. There's nobody to even note of from not Jaylen Brown, not JT, nobody. All right, it was not a great game at all for the Celtics. And again, it was one of those games where it's like, why everybody's been kind of, and I wasn't going to slander honestly, I was about to praise the Celtics just for how good they've been as a team. But this was like one of those games that makes people go like, why we're like, okay, we don't really feel a type of way about the Celtics team in terms of like their greatness. Why they haven't really been given their flowers. It's because games like this. It's because games like Game 4 and that they're so prone to that happening, being upset. So yeah, they should, for all intents and purposes, close this out in 5 now. But we will see. All right, we will see. That Game 4 performance wasn't too convincing, but, we'll see what happens. But, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA and the NHL survived for at least 1 more week. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the Roundup. And what the Roundup brings us, not to NASCAR, because that's happening tonight, so we can't talk about it, unfortunately. And there was no F1 this week, so I will say, for my motorsport fans, Ferrari did win the 24 Hours Le Mans, so there's that. All right, there's that. There's the little bit of motorsports I could sneak into this week's episode. But we did have some combat sports. All right, we did have some stuff in the fight game. It was, oh my goodness, what a week in the fight game. let me get the Benavidez thing out because I don't even want to pop up a picture for it. I just want to. David Benavidez, he won his light heavyweight debut. It wasn't too glamorous. It was all right. He cruised. He did what he does. All right. He was on a different level from, was it Gavordic? Yeah, it was just, all right. David did what he does. I want to see him fight Canelo. All right. Got that out of the way. Let's talk about Tank. All right. Tank and Frank Martin, there was way too much talk. For the caliber of what this fight was going to be, which is what it ended up being, there was way too much talk. There was way too much. I mean, you got to promote the fight, of course, but the people were trying to make this a way bigger deal than it was. Way bigger deal. All right? Because I never for a second thought that Frank Martin was not getting hellaciously knocked out by Tank Davis. And that's exactly what happened. That is exactly with a mean. It wasn't even the uppercut this time. The uppercut set up the straight on the ropes that put the man down. Put Frank down. Sleep. Night. Didn't know where he was. I mean, it's a crazy visual to be half conscious, and the first thing you look and see when your eyes start to open back up is a man in chrome hearts doing a backflip over your corpse. Now, I mean, it's a crazy visual. It's a crazy, but it happened. It's probably the picture, honestly, if it's not the knockout. I mean, just a crazy visual. But Tank Davis, of course, makes his bid for, face of boxing. Him and Ryan had a pretty, nice moment. It's very funny. They also frenemies. It's like a weird, sometimes they hate each other, but they're friends. Is a weird situation. But Ryan wants the rematch. Of course, probably at a higher weight. Because let's be real, Tank got it at 135. I think he's the best, and this is what Ryan told Tank, according to Tank. Tank is the best 135, best lightweight. I mean, you could maybe even go to 140, and Tank still might be the best. But once we get, once his size kind of maxes out, then we got a conversation. But I think he rules 135. He could go undisputed, I feel like, if he wanted to. Don't know if he will, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he fights some of the other princes, because even though it's nice to see him get these knockouts against Frank Martin, and of course he did fight Ryan, there's some other matchups to make, some more premier matchups, so hopefully we see those. But Tank, that's what Tank does, another highly rated knockout. UFC was in a state of chaos. There was a UFC event last night, but I have no idea what happened, because we have been at DEF CON 1 for the past week. Because, of course, Conor McGregor is not making it to UFC 303. It's an injury. We don't know what it was. It was undisclosed. But that, between him and Michael Chandler, as somewhat expected, and unfortunately so, has fallen apart. So instead, we get the much better main event, to be completely honest with you. Not that Chandler wouldn't have been fireworks, but I would rather see Jerry versus Alex too, just because that's just so appetizing. So appetizing. But yeah, Alex versus Jerry, running it back, going to be very, very fun. Alex has to lose a lot of weight, though, in 2 weeks. So we will see. That's going to be something to watch. Not that he can't do it, but we'll see if that has an effect on Alex. Maybe not. Poatan is just a different breed. Khamzat is also out. Unfortunately, it's crazy. He went from 5 fights in 7 months, fighting every other week, it felt. Just highlight reel finishes. He's the next one to... We don't know if Khamzat is going to be able to fight anymore because his health is in such bad shape. It's just absolutely crazy. We were talking about him as a 2-division champ. A future 2-division champ. And now we don't know if he has a future in the sport. Crazy fall off. Not completely his fault. But yeah, just unfortunate because Khamzat, he was that guy. If you remember... And some of y'all might not remember. That's how long it's been. He was, in fact, that guy. But yeah, just unfortunate circumstances. He follows through. So Dana has been literally making a video almost every other day, updating the fight weeks for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, DEF CON 1 in the UFC, but they do survive. The U.S. Swimming Olympic trials were this weekend, and honestly, I just have to give a shout out to the GOAT. I just have to give a shout out to the GOAT. That is literally the only reason I put the segment in, was because Katie Ledecky did, in fact, Katie Ledecky things. I saw somebody on Twitter say, and I love it. One of my favorite parts of Olympic times is we get to see Katie Ledecky swim and her be the only person on the screen because she's that far ahead of everybody. This is the GOAT. She's the GOAT. Nothing else needs to be said. But Ledecky did Ledecky things, and she Ledecky'd other swimmers. Once again, she's going back to the Olympics, hopefully to collect more gold. Now I know we went a week without it. But yes, we are back. More drama in the W. All right, more stuff to talk about. Except I'm not going to talk about Caitlin Clark and the race war. I'm not doing it. We want to talk about actual stuff here. Not that that's not actual stuff, but y'all, I'm not entertaining the foolishness right now. I want to talk about her actual game. Because she played her most efficient game, in my opinion. Of course, the 30 ball. She had the 30 ball. But one of her most efficient games, in my opinion, and one of her best games so far in her rookie year, she played, again, by the way, for all intents and purposes, even though Angel loves saying she doesn't, she's not trying to play the villain, the whole Reebok sneakers with the Joker, and then her comments, she makes these petty comments. It's kind of hard to believe you don't enjoy playing the villain when you just kind of, you buying into it a lot. But anyways, Angel's been on fire. A lot of double-doubles, had a 2010 game. People saying she's on top of the Rookie of the Year ladder. Caitlin Clark said, all right, bet. The Indiana Fever take care of the Chicago Sky for the second time this year, 91-83. Kate had 23 points, 9 assists and 8 boards. So close to a triple-double. So close to a triple-double. And she was 7 for 11, which is the biggest thing for me. 7 for 11. If she can get that efficiency, even the 3-ball going at a good rate this type, that's it. That's it. At 23, 9, and 8, nobody else is doing that. Not even Sabrina. All right, not even Sabrina's doing that. And Caitlin did that pretty comfy in this game. So, yeah, liking what Caitlin was doing. She was looking real good. Aaliyah Boston had 19, 14, and 5 blocks. Aaliyah looking like Aaliyah might be Aaliyah again. It's good to see. Because it was a struggle, and maybe some of that was, self-inflicted. But it's good to see AB hooping again. She's looking every bit like the Rookie of the Year she was last year. So, yeah, shout out to Aaliyah. She's been through some stuff this year. It was a hard stretch to begin the season, but she's looking more comfortable, looking more like the Aaliyah Boston that we know. Marina Mabrey had 22, but it wasn't enough. Cammie and Angel both had double-doubles, but it wasn't enough. And I will say, I figured out what Angel Reese is because she has no offensive game. As much as I love Angel, and I think she's a star, she has no offensive game right now. She is Andre Drummond. She is Andre Drummond. If you think about it, she is Andre Drummond. No offensive bag, and she gets a lot of points off of her great rebounding and offensive rebounding ability. She's a high-effort player. But she's also a really good defensive player, which Drummond was also a pretty good defensive player in his younger years, so... Right now, she's Andre Drummond. Not that she can't become better than what, Drummond became. But, yeah, right now she's Drummond, and it's kind of exposing her a little bit. Even though she's been successful, and you ain't going to be mad at a rookie getting a double-double. You're starting to see some of the holes in her game and things she needs to get better at, and I have faith in Angel, getting better at those things. But for now, the Sky take another L to the Fever. Can the Fever get the sweep? That's going to be interesting. However, it might be panic time. It might be red button time for the Las Vegas Aces. And of course, one of their headlining matchups, because this is the only team that's supposed to be able to touch them, even though the Connecticut Sky have been on 1. All right, boy, have they been on 1 this year. But the Liberty and the Aces, the 2 super teams, and the Aces are supposed to be the premier team as they are the back-to-back, going for a three-peat. But now they have 6 losses and are sitting at 500 into this young WNBA season, and questions are now being asked. All right, even though Asia Wilson looking like the MVP, dominating 30 and 15 games, only 21-9 in this game, but still phenomenal stuff from the best player in the world. But the Aces just haven't had it. They didn't have it in this game. Jonquel Jones most definitely did though. 34 in this game. Sabrina had 15 and 12. She has been looking better and better and better. Again, wasn't her most efficient game, but she's looking more and more like what we expected Sabrina to be coming out of college. She's just adjusting to that very, very well. So, yeah, shout out to Sabrina. Kelsey Plum had 22, but they were just got outplayed, which feels weird to say concerning the Aces because that's not supposed to happen, but they just got outplayed. Simply put, they got outplayed. We will see what happens, and and kind of what's the storyline and what happens there with the Aces. It's going to be interesting because 500 is not where you want to be, even though 8 of the 12 teams make the playoffs, which is why the Fever the 8th seed currently. But yeah, you want more out of the defending champions, and for a team that's supposed to be the headline team in the Las Vegas Aces. But yeah, it's been a very interesting WNBA season, and yeah, we got some interesting things brewing. Of course, the Olympic team came out. Y'all had a bunch of discourse about that. I won't talk about it because I still think we might have some adjustments coming to that. But for now, that was the W. And lastly, pain. Just more pain for Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy fans on the cusp of the U.S. Open in Pinehurst, on the cusp, and just the last 2 holes of doom. All right, simply put, that's the only way I can put it. The last 2 holes of absolute doom. It just all falls apart for Rory. It was hard to watch. Unfortunately, an all-time collapse leaves Bryson DeChambeau, who is just a model of consistency, and was playing for a lot of people. Playing for Payne Stewart, his idol, playing for his dad. It's Father's Day. He lost his dad last. So Bryson DeChambeau with a lot of emotion played really well all week. Was on the top of the leaderboard nearly all week, and he gets it done with a 6 under as Rory collapses, and Bryson DeChambeau now has his second U.S. Open. He wins at Pinehurst. Great event, man. Though that's just you gotta feel for Rory, bro. One of the best of his generation, but it feels like, I don't know, man, that it keeps getting so close for almost like 10 years, like so close, but so far. So yeah, real rough one for Rory, but Bryson DeChambeau gets back on top, collects his second U.S. Open at Pinehurst. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy. Without further ado, back live from the 704, Ocho signing off.